5 seconds to go. Start. In the last 12 or 13 years, we have gathered much experience in planning, through success and failures. Stop. I think that, on the whole, we plan well. Stop. I think also that on the whole, we do not implement well. Stop. It is not good to have a theoretical plan and not implement it fully. Stop. Planned development is a complicated matter which takes you right down to the lowest rungs of the administrative ladder. Stop. Para. To some extent, I have a feeling that these rungs of administrative ladder are not functioning as they ought to. Stop. We have some very good administrator, but it is not a good man by himself who can do much. Stop. The whole tone of the administration has to be improved, right down to the revenue official and other officials. Stop. Sometimes there is a conflict between one department and another. Stop. Therefore, each state has to tone up its administration and ministers have to give little more time to administrative work. Stop. Para. One of the things we have learnt from planning these last few years, and this has been stressed in the third plan report, is the need for perspective planning. Stop. You cannot plan for a year, or even for 5 years, you have to think 20 years ahead and work up to those objectives. Stop. What happiness is that we plan for 5 years as if we are going to start a new scheme of things at the beginning of every plan. Stop. There is no such thing. Stop. Planning is a continuous process. Stop. If you have got to do something in the fourth plan, you have to begin here and now, note, of course, spending large sums of money, but, still, laying the foundations for it, so that when the time for the fourth plan comes, it assured of a good start. Stop. We lose much time in the initial stages on any project. Stop. This is totally unnecessary. Stop. Therefore, I think, in your agenda there is provision for the preparation of the fourth plan. Stop. Those arrangements must proceed now in the middle of the third plan. Stop. Para. In the notes supplied to me, I remember to have read a statement that we are now in the middle of the 55 years of planning since independence. Stop. 55 years is an adequate time, and therefore half of this period is a good time to make an appraisal of the situation. Stop. I would beg of you to remember that although what you have already done is important, it is not very important by itself, an old factory or factories or something else you put up, you have to go to the roots of the economic problem. Stop. The roots lie in agriculture and the enormous material in the form of 950 million or more people. Stop. Para. The other most important things is training the people, apart from top level scientists, technicians, engineers, etc., and we are getting more and more of them now, general training for the masses engaged in agriculture is necessary. Stop. That leads you to mass education. Stop. Education has no doubt increased. Stop. Unfortunately, I have heard that in some states the emergency has led to a slowing down in the rate of expansion of education, stop, that I think, is tragic, stop. I do not wish to use milder terms because the whole progress of India depends on the educational apparatus from the bottom to the top, stop. These are some of the things I should like you to bear in mind, stop. We cannot neglect education in case because with that rests the future of the Indian people. Stop. Para. Namaskar, how are you? Sign of interrogation. The launch of Zen Garden and Kaizen Academy is a symbol of the spontaneity and modernity of India-Japan relations. Stop. I am confident that the establishment of the Japanese Zen Garden and Kaizen Academy will further strengthen the relationship between India and Japan, bringing our citizens closer. Stop. I would like to especially thank the leaders of Haijo Prefecture and my dear friend Governor Mr. Toshizo Aido. Governor Aido himself came to Ahmedabad in 2017. He and the Haijo International Association have been instrumental in establishing the Zen Garden and Kaizen Academy in Ahmedabad. Stop. I also congratulate the colleagues of the Indo-Japan Friendship Association of Gujarat. Stop. They have consistently done remarkable work to give new energy to India-Japan relations. Stop. The Japan Information and Study Center also is one such example. Stop. Para. Friends, India and Japan are not only committed to outer progress and growth but have given equal importance to inner peace and progress. Stop. The Japanese Zen Garden is a beautiful expression of this quest for peace and simplicity. Stop. The people of India will see a glimpse of the peace, poise and simplicity that they have experienced through yoga and spirituality for centuries. Stop. And anyway, what is Zen in Japan is Dhyan, meditation in India. Stop. Buddha gave this Dhyan, this Buddhism to the world. Stop. And as far as the concept of Kaizen is concerned, it is proof of the strength of our present intentions and our commitment to move forward continuously. Stop. Para. Many of you know the literal meaning of Kaizen as improvement, but its inner meaning is much broader. Stop. It not only emphasizes improvement but continuous improvement. Stop. Friends, serious efforts were made in Gujarat regarding Kaizen for the first time shortly after I became the Chief Minister. Stop. We studied Kaizen thoroughly, implemented it, and it was in 2004 that for the first time so much emphasis was placed on Kaizen during administrative training. Stop. In the next year, in 2005, we gave Kaizen training to the top civil servants of Gujarat during a brainstorming session. Stop. Gradually, we introduced it to the education system and many government offices in Gujarat. Stop. The continuous improvement that I was talking about here also continued. Stop. We took out truckloads of unnecessary stuff from government offices, revamped processes and made them simpler. Stop. Para. Similarly, huge reforms were carried out in the health department, drawing inspiration from Kaizen. Stop. Thousands of doctors, nurses and hospital staff were trained in Kaizen. Stop. We organized physical workshops in different departments, worked on the processes, engaged people and connected them with it. Stop. All this had a huge positive impact on governance. Stop.